And I think that the dragons are still alive.
Rosemary.
The dragons are still alive, aren't they?
Yay,
Yes,
they
they are.
certainly are.
But I
Thank
thought
you.
that the ogres of greed, you know.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank
That
you.
was beautiful, Rosemary. Thank you so much.
All right,
Thank
darling.
you. Shall I read my poem now? And then maybe, Jules, do you want to go after this? Is that all right? Fabulous. I'll read my poem. And then Jules after Jules's spot. So I thought I would read the poem Hawthorne from Hilary Llewellyn Williams from her book Hummadroos, which is a beautiful poetry book. And this is Hawthorne. I thought, seeing as we're in the May blossom time, that this would be a good poem to read for us. May's out, white, plump and plush, waymarker, sweet female unlucky spray, tucked starry flowers, a million eyes road watching, field guarding, a hilltop presence, yearly more curved, with each twist of the earth, deep musk, queen of long dusk, sharp secrets, she'll turn to blood in the hedge, rich burning drops, jets leap and scream through a damaged sky, my skin darkens in so much light, the tightening drum, the hum of silage cutters from a far field, muffled by bushy may, smother those savage thorns in green and white. She will be beautiful. In a changed world, still she draws you, enters you, as woman to woman, and you are not hurt, but healed and washed clean, even now, wise-eyed, reborn. Thank you. So, Jules, over to you.
Thanks, Jackie. I thought you and John had both spoken of the Queen of May. I've got some words here on another queen, and also somebody who died 40 years ago this month, who had also had the Crossbones vibe running strongly through them. What's special about Ethiopia? It's the source of the Blue Nile, one of the two rivers that meet and make up the River Nile, the longest river in Africa and possibly in the whole world. The springs at its source at Gisha Bay are visited by many for their sacred healing powers. Its capital, Addis Ababa, sits at an altitude of 2,300 meters at the foot of Mount Entoto, the summit of which is 3,200 meters above sea level. And according to Ethiopians, it was where the Queen of Sheba returned to 3,000 years ago after having had a son with King Solomon, so that her son could found the dynasty of Ethiopian rulers. The Queen of Sheba appears in the Torah, the Christian Bible, the Quran, and Arabian tales. She's a figure of mystery, a sun-worshipping pagan seeress, a charismatic clairvoyant, a black, powerful, clever, witty, wealthy female ruler. Legend tells us she carries a goose's foot. She's beautiful, alluring, glamorous, and continues to inspire and empower many people. In some stories, she's even said to have a webbed goose's foot. In the Ethiopian epic, the Kebra Nagast, the Book of Kings, which recounts the country's history, we're told that in the 23rd year of his life, the Queen of Sheba's son Menelik, at the request of his mum, returned to Jerusalem. He sought to take from his father's temple the Ark of the Covenant, the box containing the stone tablets carved with the Ten Commandments, the word of God. As Menelik fled with the ark, the sun was said to dim over Jerusalem and rise over Axim in northern Ethiopia. Although its whereabouts are secret, Ethiopians claim it's still in their country today. The history of Rastafari is tied up with the European colonization of Africa and the enslavement of Africans, many of whom were sent into exile as captives throughout the world. These areas of captivity became known as Babylon. In a speech in 1920, Marcus Garvey, who wanted to reunite Black people with their ancestral homeland of Africa, said, "Look to Africa where a Black king shall be crowned. He shall be your redeemer." 10 years after this prophecy, Haile Selassie, a descendant of the Queen of Sheba and Menelik, was crowned emperor in Ethiopia, and this was seen as the fulfillment of Marcus's prophecy. The Rastafari movement began in Jamaica and takes its name from Haile Selassie's original name, Rastafari, the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah. Haile Selassie's birthday, the 23rd of July, remains a key date in the Rastafari calendar. Beliefs in Rastafari include the humanity of God and the divinity of humans, that salvation is available here on earth, the importance and sanctity of life, a respect for nature and all beings, the power of speech, and the importance of love and peace. During spiritual meetings, called reasoning sessions, there's chanting, drumming, prayers, singing, and discussion. Ganja is regarded as a herb of religious significance and is often smoked at these sessions to produce heightened states, which the music also adds to as it plays out. Rastafari has become commonly associated with reggae, especially following the success of Bob Marley, who helped spread awareness of it through his music and life. In their songs, Bob Marley and the Wailers speak out against the inequality experienced by Black people, as well as social and spiritual matters. They spread a message of love and peace between all. For some, Bob himself came to embody a divine figure. Bob and his bandmates lived in London on and off from the 1970s. Initially, they were virtually unknown here and struggled to get any bookings. An art teacher heard them play one night in a small club and suggested they play an impromptu gig at the school that he worked at to help gain attention and that he'd tip off the press. Bob and the band turned up at the former Peckham Manor School, only about a mile from Crossbones, a couple of days later, and played to a great reception in the school's gym, which gained them a word of mouth following. The school's no longer there, but the gym remains as part of the Damilola Taylor Youth Centre. The first street mural of Bob appeared in the late 70s, painted on a garage wall in Brockley. A Rastafari temple painted in red, green and gold was established near us in St Agnes's Place in Kennington, in a street of squatted properties that had sprung to life in 1969. The temple bordered Kennington Park, which Haile Selassie had visited in 1937, and Bob Marley first visited the temple in 1977. In 2007, Lambeth Council, who wanted to redevelop the street, took court proceedings to evict those in the temple and close it down. At 3:10 in the morning on the 12th of April that year, 250 armed police stormed the temple, which they said was a drugs den supplying ganja and crack cocaine. They searched the temple's 32 rooms and claimed to have found several kilos of ganja and a quantity of crack under the floorboards. The police arrested 23 people inside the temple. After the raid, 5 people were charged with possession and the intent to supply ganja, but no one was charged with possession of crack cocaine. By July that year, the council had demolished the temple. The following year, the case reached court, but after 4 weeks of court proceedings in Newington Causeway, close to us at Crossbones, the trial collapsed in chaos and confusion. It emerged that one of the defence's legal team, who'd offered her services to those charged, was one of the complainants to police about the temple and alleged drug sales there. All defendants were acquitted. Bob played his last ever UK gig in Crystal Palace Park in 1980. At this point, his health was beginning to deteriorate, and he played his last ever concert on the 23rd of September 1980. Bob died from melanoma 40 years ago this month, aged just 36. The day before his funeral, Bob's body lay in state in Kingston, Jamaica, during which 100,000 people came to pay their respects. After the service, Bob was taken to 9 Mile, the village where he'd been born, and was carried to the top of the highest hill there. There he was placed in a temporary mausoleum painted red, gold and green. Alongside his body, his coffin contained his guitar, a stalk of ganja, and the Bible opened at Psalm 23, the one which begins, "The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not be in want. He makes me lie down in green pastures, leads me beside quiet waters, restores my soul." Bob's friend and bandmate Peter Tosh had recorded this psalm in a song 4 years earlier. In Peter's words, Jah guide I through this valley.
Thank you, Jules. That was very moving. I feel very tearful listening to that. Thank you. So beautiful. And so many 23s again. Where did they all come from? It's amazing.
It's a mystery, Jackie.
It is a mystery. It's such a mystery. Thank you for that. Beautiful. Drew, would you like to go next? Drew, everyone.
I'm quite happy to go next, yes. So, hello. Yes, I decided I'd dress up my background in the oddest thing, some playing cards from a gin rummy deck.
Hooray, gin.
Hooray.
Love gin.
Yeah, going with 2 junipers, 3 corianders.
Perfect.
Since Jen mentioned 17 years we've been doing these vigils.
17 years. This is the 204th consecutive vigil, I think.
Oh well, yeah. I went with an ace and a 7 as well for 17.
Perfect.
And so I'm going to contribute something well quite different from what we've had so far, but it's very goosey, and and I hope everyone can hear me quite clearly. I know the acoustics in my own room aren't that great, and I didn't really want to go outside, to be honest.
We can't see you anymore, but we can still hear you.
Oh,
your camera's gone off apparently.
Blast. That's going to be a problem. Can you go to someone else, maybe?
Yes. John, do you want to just let me... Oh, no, you've come back. Look, you've come back.
Oh.
Hooray. Oh, now you've gone again.
Right. No, I guess when I go out of the app to get what I was going to read, it won't keep my camera on.
What a
but
conundrum.
I can resolve that. I just need you... let someone else have a turn for a minute.
Yes. John, would anybody... Just a second, let me remove your spotlight and I'll get... Who else would like to say anything? Is it just John? Wave at me if you'd like to speak. Wendy, are you waving at me or just pressing things on your... No. John, were you able to go next? Would that be okay?
Yes, yeah, I could go next.
While Drew sorts out his...
I was going to, it's up to you whether you